Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to today's video, and today I'm going to talk about how I am planning on losing body fat and shredding down from men's physique competition prep. So for those of you who don't know, I'm currently on prep. I just started about 3 days ago for my first ever contest prep for men's physique. And essentially what that means is I'm just trying to get as lean as I possibly can while retaining as much muscle. Ultimately, that is just going to make me look crazy on stage, super shredded. As of right now, it's totally fine, totally normal what I'm doing, but towards the end, it gets to a point where it can be very unhealthy actually. But either way, what it requires is extreme discipline, extreme focus, lots of knowledge and everything, super hard work, intensity. And I'm just going to show you guys how to simplify that, how to dumb it down, I guess you can say, so you can practice that in your lives as well. So to start off, and mainly what most of this video is going to be about, is the nutrition side of it. So point number one to bring up is the diet. And it's honestly super simple. And the hardest part about the diet is just sticking to it, to be honest with you. So in order to lose body fat, or in order to lose weight in general, I should just say, you need to be in a deficit of calories. And if you don't know what the law of thermodynamics, I think I'm saying that right, yeah. I think I'm saying that right. If I'm wrong, oh well. Law of thermodynamics essentially means that if you're eating less than you expend, or if you consume less than you expend, you're going to lose weight. So essentially your body requires a specific amount of fuel, calories. If that body gets that fuel and that fuel need is met, your body will maintain. If that fuel need is exceeded and you consume too much fuel, calories, your body will use that extra fuel and pack it on as either muscle, body fat, water, whatever it may be. But in my case, we need to underconsume in that fuel, or underconsume in calories. Therefore, we're going to be in a calorie deficit. When you're in that calorie deficit, that's what's going to drive your weight loss. So essentially, as I'm trying to shred down, lose weight, I won't need to put myself in a deficit. And when I say deficit, I just mean a slight calorie deficit. I don't want to cut out all my calories all at once just because that's unhealthy. It's stupid. I'm just going to have a big energy crash. I'm going to feel like crap. And it's not optimal. Throughout a prep, or just for anyone, if you're trying to lose weight, you should always start out with just a slight deficit of anywhere from 200 to 500 calories. If you're really overweight, you can get away with more, but for me, and the average person, just start out with 200 to 500 calories. I'm about at 500 calories right now. And that should be pretty set off. And when your weight loss stops, obviously, because your metabolism adjusts, that's when you can further decrease the calories. So what about your macros, your proteins, carbs, and fats? So essentially, these are the three main components that make up your calories. And when you're new to this all, it sounds very confusing, but it's quite simple. Your proteins, carbs, and fats make up your calories, and you need to consume less calories than you burn in order to lose weight. Pretty simple. So with protein, pretty standard for me since I'm cutting. Usually for anyone, you can just go 1 pound, one gram of protein per pound of body weight. So I weigh about 182 pounds right now, so technically I only need about 182 grams of protein. But for me personally, I like to go slightly over that just because I'd say better just to go slightly over than to be sorry, not good enough. So I go about 200 grams of protein right now, which is about 18 grams above what I could actually need. So about 1 gram per pound of body weight is pretty good. Carbs next to protein is my next biggest priority. You want to keep your carbs as high as you possibly can when you're trying to lose weight, because your carbs, these are what going to replenish your glycogen. You're going to feel fuller, more energetic in the gym. Your hormone levels are going to be better. You're going to sleep better. Your leptin levels will be in check. You're going to have a lot more drive. You're not going to feel just like dead all the time. Eventually, there will be a point for me, not for the average person, such as like peak week and stuff like that, when you get down to a spot where your carbs are very low and you kind of feel really crappy. But for now, my carbs are as high as they can be while I'm still losing weight, which is optimal, pretty good. And then your fats, you can kind of play around with your fats too. And honestly, you can kind of play around with both your carbs and fats, but I guess from a strategic standpoint, keep your carbs as high as you can get away with. And then your fats, really whatever you feel comfortable with. Right now, I'm consuming about 85 grams of fat. For the average person, depending on how much you weigh, I would say anywhere from, really, for guys and girls, really anywhere from 40 to 90 grams of fat, and that's going to depend on who you are, where your calories are, and a lot of other factors. For me, my fats are about 85 grams right now, so slightly higher, but that's okay for where I'm at. So with the diet, the hardest part, like I said earlier, is just sticking to it. If you may have seen one of my videos a few If you may have seen one of my videos a few weeks back, I talked about the key to losing fat loss. If you haven't seen that, please go look at that because it's really gonna help you out. And essentially I just talked about you need to eat the foods that fill you up. So yes, we're in a calorie deficit, and obviously there's gonna be times when we are hungry. It's impossible to be in a calorie deficit and go completely unhungry all the time. Your body's just not designed to do that. Your body does not want to be in a calorie deficit. Your body wants to maintain itself where it's most comfortable. And for all of us, that is not in a calorie deficit. Your body has a certain set point. Some of us are endomorphs, so really heavy. Some of us are ectomorphs, so like you're really skinny. Some of us are mesomorphs, we're optimal for building muscle and stuff like that. That's a true thing. And some of us, we're kind of in between. If I had to say myself, I'm probably in between, kind of a ectomorph, like really skinny, kind of lanky, and also like a mesomorph because I can still build muscle decently if I try to. So we're all in a certain spot, and our body likes to keep us in a certain place. So either way, if you're in a deficit though, your body's not going to want to be in that place. It's going to try and fight it. So there's going to be times when you are hungry, but you can help prevent that by eating foods that fill you up and light your calories and macros. And the hardest part people do is they don't ever stick to their diet because, like I just said, they get too hungry. They don't know how to eat the right foods to keep them full. So when it comes to my diet, really simple, eating in a slight calorie deficit, enough protein, enough carbs and fats, obviously. But the biggest thing is I'm tracking my food. Just like always, I'm a big firm believer in tracking your food, especially if you're a beginner. And I do, yes, honestly, if you have been in the game for a few years and you've been tracking your food forever, then you can get away with not tracking. But for someone like myself, I've been doing it for about 3 years straight now. I still love it, so I still do it. And I would be screwed without it because I would have no idea what I'm eating. And if you're a beginner, like I have all my clients, everyone start tracking their calories just because you have no idea what you're eating and how much you're eating until you actually start tracking. So tracking, eating that slight calorie deficit, all I'm doing, and it's just a thing. It's consistency. It's a slow process. It can be boring at times, but I know what I want. I know what my goals are, and I'm gonna hit those regardless because I've got this vision inside my head, so it's not gonna stop me. So that was kind of like the nutrition aspect of it. Really simple, just hard to stay consistent with it, which is everyone's problem. Now we're going to talk about the next part, which is training. So I guess you could say tip number 3 is going to be your training. And I'm going to classify this in 2 parts, as in your weight training and your cardio. So we'll start out with weight training, so it'll be relatively fast. So with weight training, the number one thing you need to focus on is training as tense as you normally would. Like you can't get in this mindset that you have to train like a pussy all of a sudden. So many people, they say, okay, I'm in a calorie deficit, I'm in a much more vulnerable state, I have to train lightweight, I can't push myself hard because I'm gonna lose my gains. Well actually, when you do that, you are gonna lose your gains because you're not pushing your muscles into a stressful state that's gonna allow them to maintain the current mass that they've built up. Where you need to train as intense as you would all year round. Yes, I'm only 3 days into my cut right now, but I'm still pushing it as hard as I would in my peak off season. I'm still making PRs. This morning, I just hit a PR on squat, for reps and everything. So I was crazy. I was super pumped about that. But you just have to try and stay as strong as you can, as intense as you can, and keep everything the same. Your training, nothing should stay the same. My weight training program is the exact same as it was when I was on my bulk. So nothing changes there. If anything, you're just pushing it even harder inside the gym, which most people think is wrong. But no, most people are wrong because they train like babies. Yes, that sounds harsh, but people are freaking babies. And it's kind of annoying actually. Because they're literally screwing themselves up, which sucks to see because it's so simple. Just train hard. That's all you really gotta do for training. Yes, make sure you're being safe, you're lifting everything appropriately, correct form, correct tempo, etc. So that's weight training. So the next part of your training is gonna be your cardio. So I technically don't call this training, but since it's a form of working out, I'm gonna include it in the training category here. So your cardio. I've had some funny talks about this one because people get the wrong idea about cardio all the time. They're concerned about high intensity, low intensity, every day, hours every day, blah, blah, blah. For just getting lean, the number one thing you can do, in my opinion, is just low intensity cardio. Personally, for me, that's just walking on the treadmill at an incline. I also really recommend the Stairmaster. Some things I don't recommend is doing the bikes. I don't recommend doing any sort of elliptical or anything like that. And I'll get into high intensity a little bit, but I never recommend anyone to do high intensity either. So for cardio, I'm starting out with 1 day per week right now. I could even get away with nothing, but I just feel like doing one. And that one session I have per week right now is only 20 minutes long. Just because I don't need it. I'm eating enough food right now. I'm eating about 3,500 calories right now. And I'm not that hungry. I'm in a deficit. So if I'm in a deficit, if it's all working, I'm not going to change it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So until my weight starts to stop, then I might add a little bit more cardio in. Even that, I might work in 1, maybe 2 more sessions for only 20 more minutes. Then when my weight stops again, instead of adding in more sessions, say I might increase the duration of each session and do about 40 minutes each. So start out with as little cardio as you can do, and then slowly work your way in it. The worst thing you can do is all of a sudden, it's similar to like dropping your calories all the way down. If you go doing 40 minutes of cardio 7 days a week, that's gonna suck, because when your weight plateaus, you're gonna have to do 60 minutes every day. And when your weight plateaus again, you're gonna do like 120 minutes every day. Or that was wrong, like 80 minutes every day, excuse me. But can you see what I'm saying here? Like, it just keeps adding up and adding up and adding up. But when you start small, slowly ease into it, your weight kind of goes down normally. It's managing your time more wisely, and saving kind of like your stamina and everything. Because let me tell you, even doing 40 minutes every day, that's gonna kill, it's gonna suck. You're not gonna wanna do it. So let alone do 80 minutes every day. So start out with bare minimum, slowly work your way into that. And like I do, incline walking on the treadmill. Yes, incline, I mentioned this in my previous video, you don't want to do flat walking just because it's not going to be much different than just walking at all. You're going to get so much more bang for your buck by doing the incline. Watch the end of my last video if you haven't seen that, and I'll explain that more in that video. So high intensity. I have a hard time with this one too, just because people think high intensity is like it's like the holy grail of cardio. It's not. High intensity, I hate the word high intensity too, because people say high intensity, they're still training like pussies. They're not training high intensity. High intensity means literally all out, like literally 90% of your 1 rep max, like not even 90, all out. You should be hitting failure. It's like hitting a max weight for the bench press. You go all out, so you hit like 225, 1 rep, just everything you freaking got, you can't do any more. That's what a set of high intensity cardio should be. So people think, oh, I can do 15 minutes of high intensity cardio, be all good for the day. Well, in that 15 minutes, high intensity cardio sets only last about 10 seconds. Say you do about 5 sets for that high intensity cardio. That's barely like 10 calories, not even. And then in the off time, you're supposedly supposed to do like moderate intensity or low intensity. You're maybe burning 80 to 100 calories. So can you see there, it's barely over 110 calories within that 15 minutes, maybe. But then they're like, okay, well, I'm not burning as much, but I saw the afterburn. Well, there is an afterburn in high intensity cardio, but it's not nearly as great as we think. It's only about 20 to 50 calories. That's nothing. Literally just eat 1 bite less of food, and then there you go. That's your negative 20 calories. Like, high intensity, it's not gonna be good for you, mainly just because it's gonna wear your nervous system down. It's gonna deplete your glycogen, which therefore your training is gonna suffer because of that. You're not gonna be able to go as hard in the gym. A lot less energy, kind of like with the gym. And you're not gonna wanna do it. I understand if you have different priorities in life and say you're an athlete, so you need to do stuff like that. By all means, that is great. That's just not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking for weight loss here, and why I don't do it. Because once you get down deep into a weight loss phase, you're not gonna have the energy, and you're not gonna wanna do high intensity. And mainly just because you're trying to put all your efforts into your weight training. Because ultimately that's what's gonna make you look better. High intensity isn't gonna make you look any better. It's just gonna raise your heart rate up, burn some calories, not a whole lot though. And it's just another form of, I guess, cardio, I guess you can say. So I don't recommend that. Yes, if you really want to, go ahead. If you like it, great. I'm not gonna tell you no, but I always recommend low intensity. And I like low intensity mainly just because you're gonna burn a lot more calories, because you can go, say, it does take a little bit longer, but if I go for an hour, say walking at 15 incline for 3.5 miles per hour, I'm gonna burn close to 400 calories around there. So, but if I did, and there's no way I could do high intensity, actual high intensity for an hour. People think, oh, you can do high intensity for an hour, but actual high intensity, which no one trains at, you wouldn't be able to do that. People say it's only supposed to be 15 minutes because you can only go so intense for so long. You can't do that prolonged for over an hour. It's just not gonna work out. So I like low intensity because I can do it longer, therefore burning more calories compared to burning like 120 with high intensity. I can do like almost 400, even maybe more, maybe less, I don't know exactly. It doesn't tax my training, it doesn't deplete my glycogen so much where like my training takes a hit. It honestly can help aid your recovery with training, kind of help loosen your muscles up, burn off some lactic acid. So it can actually be a positive for that. And also I can watch my YouTube video. I can watch my YouTube videos for that. I can watch Netflix or whatever it may be. So that's why I'm a big fan of low intensity. So that's really all I have to say for this video. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. So my diet, slight calorie deficit, tracking my calories, staying consistent every single day. Cardio, 20 minutes once per week right now. As my progress stalls, I'll add in a little bit more cardio, a little bit more, and slowly increase everything until I get to my competition prep. One other big thing with the diet, remember, eat the foods that fill you up, because the more satisfied you are, the less hungry you are. The less hungry you are, the less likely you are to overeat. If you're going to overeat, binge eating and stuff like that, it leads to overconsumption of calories. And if we're not in a deficit of calories, we're not going to lose our weight. So I hope you guys took something from this video, learned something from it. Like always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to help. I do online coaching. So what that entails is a weekly phone call, 24/7 email, text, question and answer response. I'll give you a fully customized training plan, includes cardio and everything such like that if you need that. Also a full meal plan, include a full menu of all my cool recipes that I make. And then I also do a macro coaching as well. And I give you all this information, but then I'm coaching you one-on-one along the entire way. So it's super nice. Currently working with a decent amount of people right now. It's going great. So if you're someone who wants to get started as well, just shoot me a text, email, DM, whatever it may be, and we can get started. So I'll see you guys later. Hope you have a great day, and that's it.